Hey, this is Gary from 3Bug Media, and today we're going to talk about how does local SEO work. Now, a lot of people have some confusion as to what's the difference between regular SEO and local SEO, and there are differences, there are some similarities, but there's a lot of differences and different strategy involved in trying to rank a local business using local SEO, which we're going to cover here today. Okay, so first and foremost, just to give you a little quick overview and a quick example of the main differences between traditional SEO and local SEO. With traditional SEO, what you're trying to do is you're trying to rank a specific web page on your website for a specific search term. Okay, that's the whole strategy behind traditional SEO, is trying to rank individual pages on your website for specific search terms, so they rank high when people search for that search term in Google or Bing. Okay, when it comes to local SEO, the biggest difference is you're not so much trying to rank your website or a specific page, you're trying to rank your business entity in local SEO. So you're trying to rank your brand, your company, your business name, so it shows up when people search for whatever you happen to do in your local market. That's really the biggest, in a small nutshell, what the big difference is between traditional SEO and local SEO, aside from the fact also that with local SEO, you're trying to rank for a specific geographic area as opposed to ranking all across the world for that specific search term. So those are the big differences. But today we're going to talk about 4 different sections of local SEO that you should be aware of, so you understand how local SEO works and the things that you need to do to try to push your business higher in the search engine rankings. Okay, we're going to talk about 4 things: website, Google My Business and Bing Places, reviews, and citations. Okay, we'll start with the website. Your website, the whole strategy behind your website is to localize your website for your geographic location and your industry. Okay, so if you're a real estate agent in Charlotte, you want to set up that website so it's super clear for both customers and the search engines that your whole business revolves around real estate and Charlotte. So you need to make that very clear. The more clear you can make that, the easier it is for the search engines to understand what you're all about and to categorize your website appropriately. So how do you do that? You're going to start off with localized content. And when we talk about localized content, we're talking about all the pages on your site. We're talking about your home page, we're talking about your service pages, we're talking about blog content, things like that. You want to make it local in nature. So your home page, you should be talking about, what you do and where you serve. So we're a real estate company located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we serve, the greater Charlotte area, blah, 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 blah. Make it known, make it very easy for the search engines to understand what you're all about. Things you can do is add your Google Maps, embedded Google Maps with your location on your website on there. That's a clear signal for the search engines that you're a local business in that area. And create content. So when you're creating your service pages, talk about the areas that you serve and things like that. And when you're talking about blog content, localize your topics. That's one of the most important things you can do to try to get more exposure in the search engines. Okay, an example would be if you're a real estate agent in Charlotte, instead of just talking about 10 tips to sell your home fast, which isn't going to help you at all because you're never going to rank for that. Make something useful for people and the search engines. Talk about maybe the 5 best neighborhoods in South Charlotte for young families or for starter homes and things like that. That's much more useful for people looking for real estate in Charlotte, and it's a very clear signal for the search engines that you are talking about Charlotte, North Carolina. And what's going to happen is when people in Charlotte, North Carolina are searching for specific content, they're going to take note of you as opposed to people that are creating general real estate content. So the more specific in nature you can make it, the more localized you can make your content, the easier it is for the search engines to figure out where you serve and how to categorize your content appropriately. Okay, next thing is make sure your NAP is accurate. NAP is short for name, address, and phone number. Okay, make sure that these are accurate all the time, not only on your website, but on any third-party websites that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So name, address, phone number. Out of the 3, your phone number is the most important. of them because you may have businesses that share the same name. You may be in a building where there are multiple businesses that address, but rarely will a business share the same phone number. So out of the 3 phone numbers, usually the most unique. Okay, but make sure your information is accurate and make sure it's easily accessible on your website. A good tip for local businesses is to include your NAP in the footer of your website or even in the header, depending on how you do your layout. But if you can get it on every page, even if you can get a small, Google Maps widget in your footer, all those go a long way into making it easy for the search engines to understand where you serve. Okay. Last one on here is local microdata, structured data. Not as important. It doesn't have the same impact as these. Localizing your content and making sure your information is accurate is most of the things you need to do to localize your website for local SEO. But microdata is basically information that you put on your website. We call it metadata, and it's not necessarily things that a user is going to see, but it's things that when the search engine, when Google crawls your website, they're going to see this information on the back end. And it's basically just structuring information so they don't have to guess what you are. So there's actually structured data for like local businesses, reviews, things like that. So when the search engines crawl your website, it's crystal clear that you're a local business. This is my address. This is my phone number. Here's all my information. You don't need to guess. I already laid it all out for you in a clear, structured way. Okay, so if you're using something like WordPress, there's some plugins you can buy where you can install it and you can kind of add this information easily. If not, you probably need a developer and probably let him know. Find somebody is familiar with microdata formatting and structured data, and let them know what you're looking for, and then they can help get that on your website. But like I said, not as important as this, but it's good to have. If you can do it, it's good to have, but it's not mission critical to local SEO for the most part, unless you're super duper competitive. Okay. Next thing we're going to go to is Google My Business and Bing Places. Bing Places actually has a setup like Google My Business, but since most people use Google, we're going to talk about Google. But just be aware, if you go to bingplaces.com, you can actually set up a free listing for the Bing search engines the same way you do Google My Business for Google. Okay? Something to know, if you don't check your analytics for your website or you don't log into your Google My Business account, or never have or rarely ever do, and look at the data for that, most small businesses are pretty shocked that many times the Google My Business listing gets more visits than your website. So in some scenarios, your Google My Business page is actually more important than your website because more people visit that page than your actual website. And this is especially the case if you don't have a blog on your website. If you have a lot of blog, and if you have an active blog and a lot of content on your site, then your website probably gets more. But if you don't, there's a pretty good chance that your Google My Business listing actually gets more traffic than your website. So that's something you should check out, okay? Now, when it comes to your Google My Business listing, hopefully you claimed it. I'm not going to go into details of what it is because if you're a local business, you should know what this is. If not, just Google My Business and learn more. But the keys with this is make sure that you're in the proper category, especially your first category. Your primary category is the most important. Make sure that you are categorized correctly. Okay, I've seen this time and time again. People wonder why they can't show up, and you take a look, and their primary category is actually the fourth one listed that they have on there, and they're wondering how come they can't show up on the map. When people search for their business, make sure you're in the right category. Look at your competitors, see what they're doing. You can actually see it on their listing, what category they're in, and make sure that you set your primary category first. You can add multiple categories. Don't go crazy. Make sure they're only relevant because it'll hurt you in the end, because if you start adding too many categories that aren't relevant, if people go there and they don't click on your listing so many times, you're actually going to it'll actually be a negative effect on how you rank. So make sure you only pick proper categories and your first category is the primary one. Okay. Same thing with your NAP, name, address, phone number. Make sure it matches your website. Make sure they're in sync with each other. These are your 2 most important properties online for a local business, so make sure they're in sync with each other. Online reviews are super important for Google My Business. On there, take those seriously. Number 1, they help with your rankings for Google My Business. And number two, if anyone is going to use Google to start searching for, a local business, the Google reviews are the first set of reviews people are going to find in the search results. So they're super duper important to have. Also, images, make sure you keep your listing fresh with new images on a regular basis. And if you can get your customers to interact with your listing and your business, the better chance you have to get higher rankings with it. And when I say interaction, is reviews. Customers have the option with their phone, if they're using Google Maps, to actually upload images of your business directly to your Google My Business listing. They don't need your permission, and you can't approve them or delete them, things like that. So customers can actually upload their own reviews. And there's a whole bunch of new products that are coming out too. They just started messaging as an option, so people can actually message your business through your Google My Business listing. And a lot of businesses don't realize this, but people can actually check in to your business if they're using Google Maps on their phone. A lot of times, especially if they tend to leave reviews through Google Maps, they'll ask them, are you at this location right now? You can click yes, it'll mark it on the timeline and check you in for that location. So Google loves when customers interact with your business. So the more interaction you can get, the better and more likely you're going to be able to get better rankings for your Google My Business page. Okay. Moving on to reviews. Reviews are like the local SEO version of links. With traditional SEO, links accounts for like 70 to 80% of your SEO. Has a huge impact on it. It's the number one ranking factor out of 250 or whatever they have now on there. So reviews is kind of similar. The more positive reviews and quality reviews that you have, it's going to have an impact on your overall local presence when it comes to local SEO. So make sure you're on the major sites you claimed and have a listing with them, and you have reviews. Google My Business, Yellow Pages, Yelp, Facebook, Angie's List, HomeStars if you're a service professional. But take a look, because every industry is different. Okay, sometimes Yellow Pages has a huge impact, and sometimes it has no impact. Same thing with Yelp. So make sure you look, and you do this by pretending you're a customer. Go to Google, start searching as if you're a customer for whatever it is you offer, and see what review sites show up. The ones that are showing up on the first couple pages of Google, try to have some reviews on there. Make sure you have a presence on there. And same thing for your business specifically. Type in reviews, your business name, and see, because people will tend to do that, and see what review sites show up. Is Facebook showing up on the first page? Yellow Pages? Make sure you have a handful of positive reviews for those pages on there. Okay. And lastly, we have citations. And citations are same thing, the local SEO version of links as well. Okay. And citations are mentions of your business online. It could be a link, but it doesn't have to be a link. As long as they mention your business online, it's what's called a citation. And this is one of the big differences. Reviews and citations are one of the big differences between local SEO and regular SEO, because with citations, Google understands that a local business can be great, but they may not be great local marketers. Okay, so you can be Joe's Pizza and have the greatest pizza in your city. Everyone knows it. People love your business. They love your pizzeria. They love your pizza. But Joe may have a crappy website, may not ever do any kind of online marketing, has almost no links to his website. And Google understands this. You can have a great business, but a poor online presence. So they discount, links still count, but not nearly as much as traditional SEO on there, okay? And so now they look for citations. They look for two types of citations. They look for structured citations and unstructured citations. So structured citations would be like your Yelp listing or Yellow Page listing, where you're entering your name, address, your phone number, website, stuff like that in a structured, and it's being displayed in a structured way. And most of the time, those are ones where you can proactively go out and you can sign up and add your business, to that listing page on there. So they look for structured citations, but they also look for unstructured citations, which would be like being mentioned in a blog post. Somebody's mentioning your name in a blog post, or local media mention your business, or even with social media, people are talking about your business, mentioning your business, things like that. And that's how Google, kind of looks at these citations, and they see, a lot of people are talking about Joe's Pizza. Local media is talking about them. They're always on social media. People are always saying they're the best pizza. And these are kind of like getting links when it comes to local SEO, and they take these into consideration when they're trying to rank your business in the local search results. Okay, so this gives you a little overview of how local SEO works. Like I said, website, your Google My Business listing, reviews and citations make up really what local SEO is. And if you look in here, hopefully you have a better idea for each one of these things that you can do to improve your local SEO. Okay, so you can learn more about local SEO and local marketing at 3bugmedia.com, or you can reach out to us if you have more questions. Okay, thank you very much and have a good day.